Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we'll make some custom UV jigs. My company has made a ton of custom UV jigs using various materials from MDF to plywood to Corian to acrylic. The nice thing about acrylic is the color. So what you can see here is you have a translucent white here and you have the yellow. Now, if something is not in the right spot, you see it immediately because the yellow just stands out to you compared to what is actually going in here. Here's a jig with the same colors, but you have the same thing. You can see right away if there's a spot that's missing. If you're doing this with a UV printer, sometimes you just forget. I have the same thing here in the shop when I use jigs for mass production. Sometimes your brain just goes to sleep and you need something visual right away to tell you, hang on a second, you forgot to put something here or you forgot to take it out. Now the nice thing about UV jigs is that it allows you to do repeatable projects. So what you do is you have one jig like this here, you fill it up, you put it in the UV printer, and while that's happening, you have the other UV jig, and what you do with this one here is you unload it, and then you load it up while the other one's printing, and then when it's done, you do the switch over. You go back and forth. I do the same thing here in the shop with the laser and the router and other machinery I have, and it's a very efficient way to get a lot of stuff done efficiently and fast. The last thing you want to do is have a UV printing job or whatever kind of repeatable job you do in your shop, and then just have to sit down there and just wait for it to be done, and then load it, unload it, and then just wait again. It's a complete waste of time. Now when it comes to acrylic, there's a lot of different thicknesses involved. This one here is 2 3mm or 1/8 inch thick pieces of acrylic, and it's laser cut. We don't care too much about the aesthetic because again, it's just going in a machine, take it out, put it in, put it out. So we're not too worried about what the look of it is. You'll see here on the translucent, you actually have a little bit of laser burning, and that just happens. What we're doing is we're using lasers to cut through it, and then because this is a petroleum product, it actually causes a fire in the machine, so you got to watch it very carefully and have a good machine to do this kind of work. And what the fire does is it's a combustion, and what that produces is some smoke, and that gets extracted outside, but you also have a little bit of smoke stains here and there as a result. They can be sanded off, they can be cleaned up, but again, it's a UV jig. The goal of this here is just mass production. We don't care about what it looks like. So what are your options when it comes to the jig size and all these kind of things? We have a lot of different machinery here in the shop. We've made jigs out of stainless steel, mild steel, for really heavy duty, super crazy requirement jigs. We also use our CNC router. The advantage of a router, I'll just show you on one of our banks, give you an idea. So let's just say this was a jig. The advantage of a router is you can have one solid piece like this here, and you have your cavity. The disadvantage of using a router to do this is because you're using a round bit, you'll have little round things like this here all around. So what you have to do is overcompensate with the router to actually go a little bit further so that you end up with a square corner. With the laser, we don't have that issue, but we don't have the depth control that we have with the router. So this here would be literally impossible to do with the laser, but it's quite easy with the router. And for this here project, all we needed to do was cut out the things. And then what we do is we bond the two layers together. So here you have 1/4 inch, here you have 1/8. So if you're not sure about what your options are, or you have any questions, visit CNCKing.com. We'll go back and forth with the template files. We can also help you design those. We'll cut it for you here in the shop and we'll ship it right to your door.